Today's presentation is 5 things to consider when choosing a remote access or remote support solution. And as you can see by my signature there, I am the channel chief of Splashtop here for the Americas, so I run our channel business going forward. And I think it might be cliche, but remote hybrid work is the new normal, right? In the last year and a half, flexible technologies have allowed working from home possible, and these workers are just as productive as working from home as they were in the office. The drive that what we're seeing now is the drive for IT really should be to allow employees to have the same kind of work experience wherever they are. And over time, we won't really have a distinction, I think, of between, okay, he or she's working from home, he or she's working from the office. It's just they're going to be working. So with this increase in the remote work, there's a lot of challenges, right, for the IT team to create a secure environment around remote access and support. You know, I'll share some additional numbers. I know there's some numbers on the slide deck here, but some additional numbers just for context, right? At Splashtop, we recently conducted a survey and found that 33% of IT decision makers anticipate challenges to support both a office work environment as well as a remote one. And 36% of those actually thought that remote access tools gave their users, their peers, or colleagues greater confidence in them as said IT decision makers. So we're going to start taking a look at, where do we go from here? So what are the 5 factors that you should evaluate when selecting a remote access, remote support solution? So number 1, and I don't think this should be much of a shock to anyone, but I think the first one has to be security, and it's number 1 for a good reason, right? Because once the pandemic hit, a lot of businesses already had technologies such as VPN and RDP to really enable remote work, but those technologies, right, are a little bit legacy to support the modern day work environment that we have today. Since 2019, just again, throw some more stats at you, since 2019, ransomware attacks have actually increased by 62%. And just last year alone in 2020, companies lost over $21 billion due to the downtime that these attacks actually induced. On average, the average company was down for about 9 days, but it took them almost 3 months to actually engage and complete an investigation and actually really form some sort of report of what was the impact of my business, what was the impact of my systems. Similar to like an RDP or VPN technology, remote access does provide access for users from any computer, any device, from anywhere around the world. But unlike RDP and legacy technology, we truly feel that remote software technologies truly can handle the more modern day approach to security. With a remote access, remote support solution, there are features such as single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, device authentication, automatic infrastructure updates, etc. So again, what we're seeing with these remote access solutions, it's the next step, if you will, to how customers and organizations are actually accessing files and workloads in a remote fashion. And the nice thing about it, it's almost maintenance free as well. Actually, go back real quick. I got to remind myself. So a couple other points I wanted to make here relative to security. So when you're taking a look at who you should bring into remote access software, we would contend Splashtop has a very, very highly secure solution, partly because we did not build our technology upon a legacy technology such as RDP. So the 4 things I actually want to, I jotted down here that I wanted to relay relative to security. Ensure that the provider that you're looking for does have authentication and authorization that takes place every single time a user and device logs in, and these connections should, of course, be encrypted. Also, the access permissions need to be managed at a granular level to enable, right, a very streamlined approach for the IT support team. Of course, we should have comprehensive logs for auditing and compliance, and it would be very nice that your solution from a security perspective also has SSO integration to minimize IT having to manage multiple user accounts. All right, second thing, so we talked about security. The second thing that we're going to talk about in what is a good remote access, remote support solution is that it really should be inclusive of all devices and all operating systems. As an end user, we don't have a lot of requirements, right, from a technology perspective. We just want it to work, and guess what? It has to work every single time. We want, and I'm working from home as I talk to you now, we want something that's intuitive, we want something that's easy to use, and something that is reliable. And if me or others don't have that, what do? We start looking at other solutions, and then that creates that what we have seen in other factions of IT is shadow IT, right? The problem with shadow IT, it then creates a lot of cybersecurity challenges. First and foremost, if your IT team doesn't know about the device, well, it can't support it. So there's an inherent risk there that you guys are absorbing as an organization. Secondly, kind of going with that, the employee doing that is now putting the actual company at risk. Such things as compliance, fines, possible incarceration. Never mind, you don't know when this data breach is happening and or having any sort of tools against these devices you don't know about to actually report against some of those security threats. The other thing that we're seeing as we talk about it being inclusive of all devices is BYOD. The average, another stat, I'm a big numbers guy today apparently, but another stat that we have Splashtop, and again, going through Gartner and Forrester Research, 66% of users expect to be able to connect multiple devices to the corporate network. And this, for them, creates the flexibility they need to actually be productive, again, working from home, working from anywhere, and gives them also that autonomy. Another survey, 66, same number, 66% of employees said they would choose a company that has a remote workforce solution in place more so than someone who does not. The problem also too is we have all these different devices. I have an iPhone, I'm talking to you on a PC, some might have an Android, some might have a Mac, but me as the employee, I expect it to work and to be supported just like it is from a corporate laptop or a corporate workstation that I would have at the office. So I expect that. But the problem is, again, we talked about a little bit earlier, that creates a headache for IT. They don't know about it. They don't know how to manage these multiple devices. So what we would contend at Splashtop, as you start looking at your ideal remote solution, it should be something that is very simple, right, for the end users to administer, bring in. Should be very easy for your IT teams to support. And also, it should have some features such as the ability to have real-time capability to manage these things remotely. It would be very nice if the solution had features such as file transfer, chat, remote reboots, desktop sharing. We just talked about it earlier. It would also be very nice if your remote solution is inclusive of our devices. Can it support in real time Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, Chromebooks? So again, a couple points there around how we're seeing a huge BYOD movement. We're not trying to have shadow IT, but again, the headaches that it can create without the proper remote access solution for your IT teams. Next up on the list, we kind of just talked about it, right? But the next thing that we really feel a remote access, remote support solution should have is something that is very, very simple to set up, very easy to manage, and again, quick to scale. I am sure that your IT teams don't want to manage another solution. So the remote access solution should free up those resources in order to do so. These remote workforce solutions should be very straightforward, quick to deploy, and easy to maintain. A couple points I think that a proper remote access solution should have, it should create a very easy to administer console, right? So that way your IT teams can manage all users, all devices in real time. It should also be something that has the ability to scale, right? As more workers come on board, as more workforces are adopting remote strategies, that's going to create not only more users that we're talking about working remote, but guess what? I have an iPad, I have an iPhone, I have a laptop, my son has a Chromebook. All of those things an employee may want to use for work purposes. So again, that puts a huge burden. So something that is very easy to scale for multiple devices. That way, IT teams are not being slowed down by this movement, and again, from a productivity perspective. And again, the ideal solution here should also integrate with other things your IT help desk already has, such thing as your help desk ticketing, ITSM solutions, PSA, to truly, again, minimize the amount of manual work that your IT's help desk Salesforce has to support. All right, next up, I think this is somewhat a foregone conclusion, right? But number 4 on our list of top 5 things to look for in a remote access, remote support solution is truly performance and reliability, right? Because again, what we're trying to create for our customers, right, and our employees is the same work experience, whether they're sitting in the office, sitting in a university, sitting at their home, sitting at Starbucks, right? And if they're not getting the same level of performance and the same reliability, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get frustrated. And if they get frustrated, Again, more drain on IT, and again, user productivity slows down. So again, this solution has to be able to support fast connections, again, on a global scale, to truly support just traditional business stuff, right? Video calls, file downloading, and accesses in corporate apps. That way, their connection is the same no matter where they're at. So again, what we would contend, what we're seeing in the market is a fast connection is a very, very crucial thing to have. Also, by being reliable, it's also going to cut down on your IT team's number of support tickets. If the IT users here know that they have a very reliable solution, your IT help desk is not going to have a lot of tickets being created by frustrated users, right? So a couple things to note here about Splashtop is recently we just announced some performance advantages to our products. So we now have the ability to deliver 60 frames per second. So this is hugely beneficial for some of the organizations that may be on this call today that are doing such things as video editing, CAD, 3D modeling. And again, those kinds of solutions are out there that, again, your users are going to expect to have, I need high speed, high performance on any device. I don't care if it's my Mac, my PC, my iPad, it's got to be the same. I can't be slowed down. I need it to be reliable, and I can't have any lag being created for what I'm actually doing. All right, we got one more, and then we'll start opening up. I know we started a few minutes before the top of the hour here. So the fifth thing, again, that we would contend that in choosing a proper remote access, remote support solution is, of course, you need world-class support. You have an organization, you're focused on your market drivers, your business, how you go to market. Last thing we need is to have a remote solution that slows that down. And again, you should have confidence that, hey, you know what, when I have issues or I have technical questions, I have an organization behind me that truly has real-time support and is truly pretty exceptional. So a couple questions I think would be behooving of the ladies and gentlemen on the call today to ask as you start looking at evaluating what are we doing for remote access, what are we doing for remote support solutions. Start asking some of the questions such as, does your vendor have live support? Do they give you the ability to have different channels of support? Can I email them? Can I chat? Is there ticketing? Can I call them? As old school as that may be, can I physically pick up the phone and call support? How much attention can they actually give your business? Are you a small fish in a big pond, or are you a big fish in a small pond? So again, what kind of attention am I actually going to get, in a sense, from a post-implementation perspective? And do you have customers I can talk with? You know, I'm evaluating what my company is doing. I know I have legacy VPN. Maybe I'm doing VDI, and I know this is not slowing down. And what we're seeing, again, across the market, we're never going to go back the way it was. It is never going to be traditional Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, going to the office. What time do I have to wake up? What time do I need to leave? Because, you know, Bobby's got soccer game. Like that, we're not doing that. You know, case in point, Allstate just closed their huge complex last month or end of October in Chicago. We're not going back to the way it was. Again, I hate to be in the commercial real estate game right now because this is just the way it is. It's not going to change. So again, do you have customers that I can speak with that actually gives me confidence in who you are and what you do as I enter, in a sense, this new normal? And how are your customer reviews? What we like to see in the marketplace is, what is your NPS score? What are customers saying about you? Because I need that sense of certainty, and again, that you have my back. And then again, just a couple more slides here to close out. So I kind of mentioned it earlier, right? Splashtop, we're not a household name, but I do have some stats. Again, numbers guy. I was not good in math class, but a couple stats here for you. We are headquartered in San Jose, California. We do have a very large presence in Amsterdam. We are the #1 remote access, remote support solution in Japan. From an evaluation perspective, we got valued last year to reach unicorn status of $1 billion evaluation. So again, very, very sound company financially, very, very sound in the market for what we do. We have over 30 million users, over 800 million sessions. 85% of the Fortune 500 companies globally actually use Splashtop. And I'll name drop people like GE and Toyota, USC, Harvard, Disney. And we had a lot of movie studios actually use Splashtop in the last 12 to 18 months to do voiceovers for a lot of the cartoon animated films that are starting to come out, once again, going back to somewhat normal in actual movie theaters, right? And I kind of mentioned it before. Our NPS score is the highest in the industry at 93%, which means customers like Splashtop. they keep Splashtop, they grow with Splashtop, and they're more apt to actually suggest it to their customers as well. And then last slide, really just, what does the Splashtop solution look like? What does our enterprise offering really benefit here? I'm not gonna really go through all of these bullet points, but again, we feel we have a very strong solution to cover multiple needs, very good customer support team, very good customer score. And again, the nice thing about Splashtop is we truly can create a plan and a game plan going forward to truly match your ever-changing needs in this hybrid workforce world that we, again, will be living in going forward.